Hello everybody, this is McMahon, and today we take a look at a few new structures that I created for my custom worlds. I welcome you all to my asset world, where I create all the structures and necessary plants and objects that are needed for my custom worlds. So recently I had a little Minecraft stream over 4 hours where I started creating the assets and structures from the base camp of Minecraft Dungeons. And this is the result, and I wanted to show you all of this today. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to you all who have been commenting and supporting me for all the works and over all the projects. You left some amazing and super kind comments down below, and sometimes really constructive ones, and I really appreciate that. Alright, let's have a look at every single structure so far. So we have the base structures on the right, we have the first alteration in the middle, and a mossy alteration in the left. So these structures are replicas and imitations of structures from the base camp in Minecraft Dungeons. And here is the first. This is the blacksmith building, which is located in the top right of the base camp. And let's have a look further down. This is the first alteration, quite mossy, quite broken down, and also altered the wool. And then the third alteration is an even more breaking down version of it. And this is the common theme for every single building and structure for all of those. Oh, and yeah, they also have a basement. The next building is the gift wrapper or the gift shop, where you can basically give your friends the loot and stuff that you found on the run, and you can hand them over to your friends. Some of these structures also have, like the previous one, a basement. So it's pretty simple. I plan to expand it maybe in the future with future iterations, make it a little bit more complex and have a little bit more variation. Let's see the first alteration, where I just broken down of the first half of the wall and made it a bit more mossy. And here is the second alteration, although I'm not quite sure if I want to keep it in that state and maybe alterate it a little bit further, as well as give the undergrounds also a little different styling. Also, maybe the yellow carpet is a little bit too much for the outside world. Next we have the villager merchant that is close to the table at the front, where you select all the missions for where you play on. So there are two alterations. I first started out with this one, and then technically it's only the table with some nothing. There was basically nothing with this asset. So I added the arch and a little wall, and I don't remember if the scaffolding in the back. I believe so. Whatever. Yep. Well, I tried to enhance it a little bit, give it a bit more detail, more insight, and what is how it turned out. After a week, I noticed that the assets and the structures have changed, and I started including those as well. So here we have the merchant stand in the second variation, as I've seen in the in-game. From those, I made new alterations that would fit way more and way better into the survival worlds, and as well the second alteration of it. At the spawn camp in Minecraft Dungeons, you can also find this arch that we will see in a moment again. And some of you might not recognize what I tried to do with this one, but if you try to look closely at the Adventures Hub, where you can get all the rewards from your previous adventures and level ups, you might notice some similarities. So we have the arms, the face, the structure that is holding up this little plate, and the whatever structure this is on top. So in this case, in my case, it holds up to a little bit of copper, and surrounding it is of course the water pond. And this is how I alterated it. So we have like the structure fully broken down, added mossy brickstone, mossy cobblestone, vines. Also really happy with this one, so I like this. And here in the second alteration we have like a little bit of full full arch, but completely encased in mossy brickstones, cobblestones, and also I added a little bit of lichen to illuminate the surroundings a little bit. For the second structure, I left it mostly intact, but added a full variation to the water with the magma blocks, and also a copper, the copper blocks on top. That's the golem holding up. Next up are the merchant stands. These were kind of interesting to rebuild as they hold up to the most details that I seen in game with those stands, aside from the main building that we come in to it in a second. The stands are mostly one-to-one, so I tried to replicate it as good as possible, and then tried to add a little bit of the benefits that I seem to fit. So for example, we have like this ladder that would go down and go into the basement. In the second alteration that I saw in the game, we have like these yellow glazed terracotta blocks that have been added. The patterns that I saw for these merchant stands, they were quite hard to replicate as they had way more detail in game, so I tried to replicate it, but mainly focused on keeping the same colors and then adding a similar pattern to it. It's not original, but close enough, I would say. And this is the first alteration. I added way more bushes and broke out the structure way more. Same goes for the mystery merchant. So the mystery merchant had like this blue carpet inside, and to elaborate it on the next structure, we have the blue carpet here, and with the moss overgrowing all the way, I tried to overlap it with the blue carpet so that it would intertwine and basically overlap with it too, and more integrated. And the alteration of it is basically a way more moss covered and full grass built, more mossy, more grassy. Oh yeah, and also a little bit of glazed terracotta. A structure that many might not notice in game, but severely added a huge flair to the worlds, is this little tower structure that had been broken down and placed in the spawn camp right next to one of the merchants. I replicated that, added a few little stairs into the wall segment to give it a little bit more depth, and of course also added a basement like that. And this is how it looks like if it's fully developed and more broken down to be placed in the world. And for the next variation, I added like this little arch structure above it to give it the indication that this could be taller and might have been a greater structure that it seems. I really like this one. And now we come to the most complex and biggest structure of them all. The home base, or the home building from the base camp. And it looks like this. You might already spot that it is not a one-to-one exact replica, because it's technically impossible. I tried my best to do it justice, but I'd had to do many compromises for this building. I tried to stay as original as possible with the sizing of the front and from the outside, but with this sizing of the outside, it is impossible to include every single structure or every single interior exactly one-to-one. And yeah, we will see it. So this is what it looks like from the outside, at least. This is the entrance. Normally this would be like an illuminated hallway where you would go through and then enter a new section of the building. So I don't have this luxury. We have the carpet in front, the bookshelves with the crafting table and the plants directly in front of us. And then to the right, we have the main living room. I had to do a lot of compromises, and I will explain them in a second. So to the left was the fireplace with the head skull. The head skull is one of the features that you receive when you defeat one of the golems. later in game. I tried to recreate it and place it up there. Then in the game, you have normally in the center of the room this dining table. I moved it a little bit further back because I wanted to have a little bit of space to walk around and have basically the place useful, so that you could actually say like place a new crafting bench there, maybe later on a chest, then make yourself a living room out of it. Also, we have on the outside the piggy stalls. So here we have those two. So in the original building, you can see that there was originally the stairs that would go upstairs directly next to the fireplace. And due to the size of the building, I was a little bit limited. So I went for the ladder on the back side, the staircase on here, and then a pathway above the living room all the way to this section. We have the fireplace on the right, the paintings in the middle, and the window and the bookshelves with the creeper on the left. The creeper would have been normally an armor stand, but I feared that it would get lost in most cases in the worlds if I would paste it in as a structure. So I wanted to keep it in, but without the armor stand, so the head stays currently there. The pictures are apparently not one-to-one, but just a resemblance. And the fireplace is as good as I could make it. And that's it for the main building here. This is the original building, so you can visit it in-game later on. It will spawn sometimes, but most of the times it will be placed as a deconstructed or a broken down ruin. And as seen before, here is the last alteration of it, where I kept more of the roof parts and broken down the walls a little bit more, but also added quite a few new details to the floor and made it way more broken down on the base as seen previously. So there's quite a lot of going on, and I hope it would fit way better into the worlds later on. That's shown. We have 6 structures left, with it the table, the arch or emerald arch, the tower entrance that I will explain in a second, 2 structures that have been a little bit outside of the camp, like these pillars and this portal. And then lastly, there is one more merchant stand that I found in game that I basically just uncovered after a late run, where I found the villager for this merchant stand, basically hidden after so many playthroughs. Was quite surprised to find it. So let's see what the alterations look like. So this is the table where you would select all the missions from, where you would what you wanted to play or where you wanted to go. I removed the carpet for this version, placed candles, made it more lushy with the bushes around it, and placed more greenery around it. For the emerald arch, I basically deconstructed it way further, and same goes for the entrance to the tower. Recreation of the full tower was not really possible, so I just went for the main structure, or for the entrance, what I was able to see, recreated it, and then basically placed the portal inside and used it as a portal structure maybe. So this is the idea behind it. And we have alterations to the pillars, to the portal, and to the merchant stand. And lastly, we have all the alterations for that of the rune types that are being placed in the worlds themselves. So an alteration with way more moss cover, a different structure placement, a little bit more. For this one, I placed a new tree inside, kept the structure itself a little bit more alive, more in its full detail. Then we have the tower that is completely eroded away, the pillars that have been thrown over, the portal that is a little bit altered with the block selection, and the merchant stand that is now completely covered in moss, vines, and greenery. I started out with the base buildings as a guidance, and then did multiple variations of it, and I already planned to enhance them a little bit further and make more variations of it. to have more details in the worlds and more stuff to explore without repetition or stuff that would get boring too quickly. So if you have any ideas what you would like to see, what I should add to those buildings, or what structures you would like to see, let me know in the comments. And I hope you all enjoyed the little tour around the structures of the upcoming worlds. I'm MacMen, and take care, have a good one, bye bye.